Hey Floyd, what was your reaction to the fight, man? What was your reaction to the fight, man?
Man, you gotta just create more action. That's a sparring session as far as I'm concerned.
Legendary boxer. Floyd Mayweather talked about the fight between Gervonta Davis and Roach and shared his thoughts on how the fight went. The world went crazy when the fight finished in a scandal. Shakur Stevenson also responded strongly, saying that it wasn't a draw and that Roach had won. He blamed Davis for being too sure of himself and not recognizing Roach's skill. Stevenson thinks Davis thought Roach wasn't a real threat, which is what made him have trouble in the ring.
Now, Lamont won. Who you thought won? Lamont.
You thought Lamont won? By how many rounds?
I don't know.
You still want the Tank Davis fight?
So what?
You still want the Tank Davis fight? What went wrong? What went wrong? Take out a little steam or fire out of it, or is it still the same?
I mean, we're gonna see. I'm the best fighter in boxing. I've been saying this, so.
Shakur, what went wrong for Gervonta in this fight? Just because, could we say maybe because Lamont didn't come in, they really...
I think he got overconfident. I think he was thinking Lamont wasn't that good. I told everybody how the fight was gonna go. The fight went exactly how I said. Exactly.
After seeing this performance from Gervonta, do you believe your confidence has gone a little bit more up?
My confidence been up. I've been knew I was the best.
Shakur wrote about the Tank versus Roach match. My tie hit tonight for the people that don't know much about boxing, and the fight went exactly how I thought it was going to go. Fans agreed and called for a rematch. Jake Paul expressed his disappointment in Davis's performance, saying that the fight lacked the intensity expected from a championship out-out. Paul remarked that Davis needed to create more action, likening the match to a sparring session rather than a competitive fight. He further noted that this was not the Gervonta Davis he was familiar with, implying a deviation from Davis's usual aggressive style.
Man, he got lucky as a draw. He did a good fight though. I thought he won it, but man, he gotta just create more action. That's a sparring session as far as I'm concerned. But god damn, that's not the Gervonta I know.
Demetrius Andrade, the middleweight king, spoke out about the fight and praised Roach's impressive skills. Andrade pined that the match should not have been ruled a draw, suggesting that Roach had done enough to win a victory. Despite the controversial decision, Andrade said that the fight was good overall and praised how tough and skilled both fighters were.
Fight, Roach had something that we all wasn't expecting. He might have had power. His distance was good. He came in ready, prepared to fight, and he showcased that. And man, we had a good fight overall. It was a good IQ fight.
In all honesty, do you think Roach pulled it off?
I'm not gonna say that at all. I don't think that the draw is good. You know. Other than that, it was a great fight. We'll love to see it again. It's me again, Caleb Plant, Chalo, Munguia, Edgar Belanga, where the fuck you motherfuckers at? Let's get this shit happen. You already know. Stop playing. Let's get these shits popping, man. Time is ticking. Tick, 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 tick.
I mean, 100%. What do you think about Berlanga's obviously opponent that he chose? I mean,
Lightweight contender Isaac Cruz expressed his disagreement with the draw decision, pointing out a critical moment where Davis took a knee during the fight. Cruz argued that the judges and referee failed to award Roach the appropriate points for this occurrence, which could have influenced the final outcome. He implied that this oversight contributed to the unjust draw decision.
Pues ahora sí que dieron una gran pelea, ahora sí que me sorprendió la pelea que dio Roach y bueno, fue una gran pelea para todos los aficionados.
¿Tú crees que fue un empate?
No, yo creo que no, creo que le quedaron a deber la caída a Roach, pero bueno, decisión de los jueces y del referee que no le hizo válida la caída, no le hizo el conteo.
¿Qué le fue mal en esta pelea para Gervonta? ¿Qué fue lo que no hizo para que los jueces le den esta pelea? ¿Tú qué piensas?
Bueno, él nada más apostó a un solo round, a un solo golpe para poderlo noquear, y el cual Loma venía muy bien preparado, muy bien concentrado en el plan de trabajo. Bueno, creo que a Tank le faltó presionar, tirar más golpes para ser más contundente y que se viera más efectivo a la hora de la victoria.
¿Te gustaría ver una revancha entre ellos?
Pues estaría muy agradable. Ahora sí que la primera estuvo muy buena, yo creo que la segunda también.
For former world champion Danny Garcia reflected on the bout, describing it as a great fight that showed the talents of both boxers regarding Gervonta Davis's performance. Garcia noted that not every night in boxing represents a fighter's best, suggesting that Davis may have had an off night. He emphasized the unpredictable nature of the sport, and the challenges fighters face in keeping peak performance consistently.
Danny, what's going on, my man? What do you think of the fight?
Stay with me, right?
Danny, what do you think of the fight, man? Are you surprised by the outcome?
It was a close fight.
It was a close fight?
I'm not surprised the way Lamont fought. I knew Lamont was going to come to fight. It was an opportunity of a lifetime. You did a good job. You fought a great fight.
What went wrong with Tank Davis? I mean, I was
what was wrong with him?
him out.
Every night in boxing is not your best, you feel me? But at least you got the
Would you
draw.
like to see a rematch of this or jump into a fight with Shakur Stevenson?
They don't, whatever they want to do. You think it was a draw? I don't know. It was a good fight.
Veteran boxing commentator Jim Lampley shared his thoughts on the fight's outcome, stating that draws are generally disappointing for both fans and the fighters involved. He highlighted that many expected Gervonta Davis to secure a knockout victory, especially considering that Roach had moved up in weight class for this fight. Lampley suggested that Davis's inability to knock out Roach could be seen as a setback in his career, potentially affecting his standing in the lightweight division.
Bag for fans, for people in the sport, etc., etc. I thought it was, in essence, the right decision. The only question about whether the upset draw is justified is whether Steve Willis erred in not deducting a point in a late round when Tank Davis appeared to touch the canvas with his hand. And, you know, that is going to stay in the woodwork and haunt the fight in the breach a little bit. But at the end of the day, it's a setback in Tank's career and for his reputation. I think most observers expected him to knock Roach out, particularly because Roach was moving up from 130 to 135. Sometimes when a fighter moves up in weight, he gets stronger, and it looked as though maybe Roach did get stronger and had a greater ability to resist Tank's power than other opponents have had, because Tank did tag him with a lot of clean shots, and he wound up throwing more punches than he likes to throw to get that done. He tagged him both on the chin and to the belly, etc., and couldn't seem to hurt Roach. And that was another surprise in the overall picture of the fight.
Undefeated welterweight champion Terrence Crawford took to social media to express his astonishment at the referee's choice not to count Davis's kneeing incident as a knockdown. Crawford's tweet highlighted his surprise, suggesting that the officials may have overlooked standard boxing rules during the fight. "I never seen someone take a knee, and they don't count. It is a knockdown, must have forgot the rules for tonight."
I thought Roach closed the last 2 rounds, and then if you think about it, that knockdown was a knockdown. He took a knee, they should have counted, and you know those 2 points, like Roach said, you know, it would have been on his favor, and he would have won the fight. But you know, I hope they run it back again, which I'm sure they will, and you know, we get more of a clear, you know, victory for either side.
How much of tonight was Roach being Roach, and how much of it was Gervonta Davis maybe not being at his best?
It was more. Reason? It was more. Yeah, well said. I think it was more of Lamont being Lamont. A lot of people were not expecting that. He was catching the punches really well, took them well, great combinations, and he just stood in the pocket and fought him right in the center of the ring. Even Tank was not expecting that, and I think that threw him off. And you know, great great performance by Lamont Roach, and Tank Davis. He's got to fight more. I mean, it's not as consistent with the fighting, and you know, again, the timing probably wasn't there for him this fight.
Abner Mars called for a rematch between Davis and Roach, asserting that Roach performed true to his capabilities, which many, including Davis, may have underestimated. Mayer suggested that this underestimation contributed to the fight's outcome and that a rematch would allow both fighters to adjust their strategies accordingly.
My reaction for this Tank versus Roach fight, I'm really disappointed, to be honest. Like, it's leaving a bad taste in my mouth, and the reason why is they leaving a negative energy out there. And a lot of y'all might not understand because y'all don't come from underserved environments or was never incarcerated or things like that. I'm from DC, and I know how we get active. I know people from Baltimore, and I know how they get active. When we talk about rivalries are cool. when I'm talking Commanders, Cowboys, stuff like that, that's friendly and cool. We talk our trash, but when we talking about when it's negative and we know that Tank have a young following, things like that, and I'm seeing certain people at these press conferences, violent individuals, and things can really turn out bad. So yeah, I understand they selling the fight and things like that, but certain things, it can get real bad. And I don't want to see nobody lose their life. Let this be a healthy rivalry. Y'all go in there, best man win, and fight over. It should be all love. We got to be careful with the messages that we putting out. It's Mr. We Fit.
Washington, D.C.-based boxer commented on the potential repercussions of the fights. Controversial outcome, expressing concern that Gervonta Davis's young and passionate fan base might react negatively, potentially leading to unrest. He noted a palpable negative energy surrounding the event, emphasizing the need for responsible management of fan reactions in such high-stakes situations. Interview 10. In his post-fight remarks, Gervonta Davis acknowledged that the match was beneficial for the sport of boxing, praising Lamont Roach as a formidable opponent. He admitted that fans expect knockouts from him given his track record, and that a draw is not the desired result for a fighter of his reputation. Davis's comments show his awareness of the high expectations placed upon him and his recognition of Roach's skills.